Oh, this is a cutscene?
Yeah.
What in the world?
Oh my gosh, what the hell? That was actually sick. Ladies and gentlemen, Loki here, back at it again with another YouTube video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the updated Pridwin tier list. They finally added M6s for 4-star characters, so that should shake out the tier list a lot. Can Burnice stand at the top of the mountain right next to Jane Doe, or will she fall short? Without further ado, let's get right into it. First and foremost, they say, as patch 1.2 draws to a close by popular demand, we've made the decision to rework our tier lists to include agents at M6 instead of M0. This change impacts all agent categories and alters characters' powers relative to each other. Agents with strong mindscapes will see an uptick in rating compared to A rank units with weaker mindscapes for their role, and S rank characters without strong meta impact. Starting off in the pure DPS category, I did want to talk about this a little bit. You can see they have the eye symbol here, which means they're watching these characters. I was talking to someone recently and they basically said Jane should be alone at the top, Zhu Yuan should move down, Ellen should move down to 0.5. They're just not on the same level as Jane Doe. And I think a big reason that a lot of people don't really see this, or they don't pay too much attention to this, and that is the fact that when Jane Doe does her damage, you see one big number. So it looks really impressive, right? And then a chunk of the enemy's health is just gone. But if I go through a full rotation, and I've done this on like Razor in Qingyi defense, and I think Razor has, let me fact check myself real quick. Now, if we take a look at the current Qingyi defense, we can see it says Razor has about 6.5 million HP, and I honestly believe that. Now I have my Piper built. I don't have Jane Doe in my account, but now I have my Piper built, so this guy got absolutely dispatched. But I've had to run Zhu Yuan on this team in the past, and with a full rotation while he's stunned, because Zhu Yuan's a burst DPS. She wants the enemy stunned. The debuff with Nicole, that team's always going to be viable just because you're getting that like massive defense shred from Nicole plus that crit boost. So every single one of your enhanced bullets are going to crit. Zhu Yuan's ult doesn't get talked about enough. It does a shit ton of damage. I can take about half of this guy's bar with my M0 Zhu Yuan. So if we're looking at this guy having about 6.5 million HP, the fact that I'm taking half through a full rotation while he's stunned is almost on the same level of Jane Doe, probably a little less because obviously he's weak to physical. He's going to take more from her. So I definitely could see Zhu Yuan. Her team is just so good. Her Qingyi and Nicole team is just so good that I don't see her moving down anytime soon, but it could happen maybe. It depends on how good the, like, I wish I had Jane to test myself, but it depends on how good, which I think currently right now this is one of the best teams in the game, and that team would be Jane, Caesar, and Burnice. That team is absolutely insane, right? For those of you that didn't pick up Caesar applies a debuff, a 25% debuff for 30 seconds. And enemies take 25% more damage for 30 seconds. And then the big one, the entire team gets a shield, right? You also get 1,000 attack. As we know, with Anomaly, attack percentage goes a long way in the formula. But I could see, I mean, definitely when Miyabi comes out, Ellen's probably going to move down here, although I think if I had to guess, because of the way Ice Anomaly works, I would say you're still probably going to build Miyabi with a bunch of crit, because obviously the only thing the build up is going to do is buff your crit damage and freeze them. So just freezing them there isn't much value there. So that leads me to believe that she's probably going to be run with a bunch of crit damage, and that's when you'll see Ellen drop for sure. But I think Zhu Yuan definitely deserves to be here. Moving down from the pure DPS role, we have Soldier 11. I don't have a problem with this. I have M1 Soldier 11, which is just, it's not that great. It's just more energy. Now moving on to Burnice herself. If you are trying to get into the disorder playstyle, which I find this playstyle very fun, you kind of have to, I feel like you have to use your brain with this playstyle more than, well, you don't necessarily have to use your brain. You just have to be more aware, right? But like, long story short, you're just applying another number on, let's say you're running her with Jane, you're just applying another number on an already colossal number, while being off field. Something like that is always going to hold value, especially for future characters. I definitely think Burnice is someone that can stand the test of time. I wouldn't say yeah, I would probably say she's a bit future proof. It's just a bit difficult for me to say that anyone in this game is future proof, just due to the fact that there are limitations with teams, whether that be double faction or double element. Because outside of that, missing the 65% fire anomaly buildup, it's going to make the character feel completely different. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to say that she's like future proof, but she's an incredible character. Like, I have a guarantee I'm like 40 pulls away. I'm definitely going to get her before the end of the patch. So if you do want to make your Jane Doe, if you want to have another play style for your Jane Doe, the disorder play style, like if it, like an enemy like Razor, right? We looked at Razor earlier. This guy's weak to fire and physical. You know how fast this guy's gonna die with both of these characters on the team? He's gonna fall over. It's gonna be insane. I cleared with you can check my VOD too. I cleared with Piper, Caesar, and then I would have had Burnice, but the pulls didn't go that great, but we're still gonna get the character. But I used M6 Lucy, bro. I do want to talk about this real quick. We're gonna take a tangent over to M6 Lucy. The pigs falling from the sky is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in this game. Her play style, I mean, it's the same play style, right? But look at this. When an ally has her buffs, the Chiron states her buffs, it's an enemy with an EX special attack. Basically, if you're using like Piper, you're always spinning to winning, right? You're always going to spin to win. Or guard boar will drop from the sky and cause an explosion. I don't know what the internal cooldown is for this. It doesn't show it, but there has to be some type of internal cooldown, because it doesn't happen. It happens pretty consistently, but there is delay. Dealing fire damage equal to 300% of the guard boar's attack. And remember, Lucy was previously changed. She previously got buffed to where, let's see if I can find it. As the guard boars inherit her attack and impact, they also inherit her anomaly proficiency, I believe. I don't know if this has been updated. And then obviously they inherit her crit rate, crit damage if you are in the same faction. I'm not sure if this has been completely updated, but I do remember it seeing anomaly proficiency and maybe anomaly mastery there as well. The boars do inherit that. That was a buff to Lucy, if you guys didn't know that. This will extend the duration of the Chiron buff. The Chiron buff is when you use your EX special attack. It wow, all allies status, so it applies Chiron to Bang Boo as well. I didn't even know it applied it to Bang Boo. That's crazy. And obviously the guard boars himself, and then you get 1,000 attack, right? It's the big 1,000 attack that is what makes Lucy Lucy. M6 goes bananas. It's actually insane, and I'm not gonna lie, my free to play as Piper team cleared this motherfucker with like 2 minutes left. It was actually, it's like, obviously again, fire, and he's weak to fire and physical, so you have that. But my Lucy's not even max invested in, but that was super fun. And then on that tangent, let's talk about the rest of that team that I did run. It was Caesar. I picked up Caesar for this specifically, and then obviously 1,000 attack is nothing to like laugh at. 1,000 attack is insane. One thing that I did want to mention is this character. I've mentioned it on stream before and just to other people in general. I think she's gonna have the Zhongli effect. If you've never played Genshin in your life, there's this character named Zhongli. He was the first shielder well, maybe not the first shielder, but he was a prominent shielder that came out, and he stood the test of time for many patches until there was an enemy that would bleed you. You would drain your health would drain through your shields, right? Instead of your shields dropping first and then your health. And this was the wolf enemy in Genshin Impact, and that really was the first, like, the kind of like the downfall of Zhongli. He's still very prominent today, but against those enemies specifically, that's how you counteract someone that puts up this defensive resist. But I did pick her up for the defensive shred, and then obviously if you are running this set, it only lasts for 10 seconds, so you really have to be mindful of that. But it's a 15% damage increase whenever you trigger a defensive assist or evasive assist. You basically start the battle, you trigger parry into Caesar, and then you get these buffs for 10 seconds, and then you take advantage of it. With that being said, she definitely deserves to be here as the support that stands above all. What she offers is invaluable. I ran her in Hollow Zero, the Blitz mode, max difficulty, and it was the easiest run I ever had. Like, right, it was actually insane. That's typically a game mode where you can get like 2-shot because of all the buffs that are on the enemy, and then obviously the enemies don't remain stunned. But if you're running a team with a team that builds up a assault anomaly, then you don't really care about the enemy being stunned. We're kind of all over the place, but let's talk about Nicole. Nicole's definitely deserves to be here. Defensive shred's always going to be valuable. It's like at max level, 40% defense shred is nuts. 40% defense shred is nuts. Yeah, there's like certain rotations that I'll do where you start the chain with Nicole and then you finish it with Nicole. That way you're reapplying this debuff and you're having maximum uptime on that defensive shred, which that's why I can't move Zhu Yuan down, because that tech, it puts her on the same level as Jane Doe in my personal opinion. Slowkaku is being watched. Slowkaku is if you've played the blue nodes, the ambush node and the whatever the other one was called, the disputed node, I believe. Slowkaku's so slow that getting up her buffs without, like, obviously you get like 40% damage resistance, I believe, when you're holding her EX skill. But the enemies hit so hard in that game mode that it's a little risky keeping up those buffs. Slowkaku is very clunky and does not feel that great to play at all. Maybe that'll change with Mayabi. And there isn't like really a team where you can run like Caesar with Slowkaku either. So I don't really, yeah, so I totally see Slowkaku even at M6. Like, the buffs are nice, I'm not gonna lie. You get like ice shred, you get a bunch of attack. I still see this character moving down to T1 just because of how clunky they are to play. That's why they're being watched, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if it actually says it, but yeah, it doesn't say it. It just says they're being, it just shows the eye symbol, which means they're being watched, which means they could potentially move down or up depending on their performance. The only other character I did want to talk about on this is criminal. This is criminal, but I mean, again, she has one of those playstyles where she's kind of like clunky as well. Her evasive assist, not being able to take advantage of it is super annoying. You literally have to wait till the animation's over before you can use her skill and proc Anastella and Drusilla again. But it's not the most fun playstyle, I'm not gonna lie, but I was a big fan of Rina when she first came out. I definitely could she might be T1. She might be T1. But I haven't used Rina in a while. The only other character I did want to personally talk about was, well, let's talk about two more. Let's talk about Lyacon. I know a lot of people, if you have max investment in Lyacon, absolute max investment, he does stun pretty fast with his combos. A lot of people that complain about Lyacon don't have max investment at all, so he feels really clunky. And then you're also not running, like I've seen a lot of people not run him with double ice or double faction, and then you're missing on a 35% stun multiplier by not running him with that. But again, ice res decreased by 25% for 30 seconds. That's probably going to be pretty good with Mayabi when she comes out. So I definitely see him holding this spot for a while. The only other character I did want to talk about is Piper. Piper is Walmart Jane Doe, but this is a character I've been playing a lot with, and I'm constantly proccing 300,000, 400,000 assault procs with my max investment Piper. She's actually very, very good. So one thing I did want to mention is if you're thinking about picking up Burnice and you don't have Jane, but you have Piper, especially at M6, right? M6 is going to give you more stacks of power, I believe. It extends the duration of power by 4 seconds. Power, M1's going to give you 30 stacks of power. Typically it's 20. And with power, you get an anomaly buildup rate by 2%, right? And now that because you have 30 stacks, 30 times 2, you're gonna have 60% physical anomaly buildup rate, which is going to make her feel a lot more comfy to play because you're not burning through special. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about the Pridwen tier list. If there's anyone, we totally glossed over Qingyi. Qingyi is the best stunner in the game. I mean, she's the best stunner in the game. The only character in the game that stuns faster than Qingyi is if you put Caesar on the stun set and you go up against an enemy that's consistently attacking you, like Razor or any of the thugs, right? These guys, they attack super consistently as well, the enforcers. That's the only time Caesar or Qingyi will be outperformed. But best stunner in the game. I wish I had this character. She's absolutely nuts. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comment section on who you should pull for, or if you have any like Burnice questions or anything like that, or any team building questions. I will be glad to answer them. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.